How much you come through.
He had meniscus tear. They have three stitches, if not more than. So yeah, he's not available to play tomorrow.
Okay, good to know. I'll put an injury report.
So I think they'll be all right.
And real injury question though. What is the status with Bryce?
So we had all these Monday games with midweek, which would have given me a little bit more time to kind of evaluate it before today. But so he obviously he's okay. Whether he'll play or not, I think is still a little bit up in the air. I would say if I were guessing, he would. He's probable. I just got to see him one more day tomorrow. We didn't do much yesterday, and he did even less than everybody else. He was totally non-contact. He got hit in the nose. It wasn't a concussion or anything like that. So just to be clear on that, he took a pretty good shot, and so we just held him out of total precaution. And then he was in non-contact yesterday just to make sure nothing was off. He was full contact today, and we'll see how he does in shoot around before we make a decision.
Is he wearing a mask?
He was not.
That's how heroes are made right there.
I heard that. Should have saw my ode to the seniors to do the loose ball charge drill. Not as graceful at 40 as it was at 35.
Anybody trying to dunk on you?
No,
Not even 1K seems like he would.
I think he wanted to try to hurt me. So he was the
Took his
charge
head down.
guy. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Fell pretty hard. Then had to get up. The loose ball took a little longer than I hoped it would. It would seem like a long way down that court. With Kendall Smith the first time.
Yeah, that's what I
tried to
remember.
dunk on me, So,
He wasn't really much of a dunker either.
No.
He really wanted that moment.
he really wanted that moment. Yeah. So,
With those seniors, you talked a lot about ice.
Yeah.
But what does he? When you look back now, what does he mean?
I would sum it up as he was the ultimate warrior in many ways. The way he competed through everything. I don't know if Ice had as high expectations for himself when he came here as I did. And what I saw when we recruited him was a leader, a winner, a guy who, I felt comfortable with, even though he had never really done it, putting the ball in his hands as a freshman and letting him grow through some stuff. And there were some times that he wasn't as graceful as others, but I think he got a lot better in his time here. And I think if tomorrow is his last game, and I think he's earned the respect of a lot of people around here for sticking it out. He came in here with a 5-man class. He's the only one standing. Says a lot because for whatever reason, right, guys are gone. Some were dismissed, some transferred out, some whatever, and he stuck through it all. He probably could have left after his sophomore year, when Cade was coming in, and we first got the notice of the NCAA tournament ban possibly happening, and he stuck with it, and knowing that he was going to be changing his role within the program and everything like that. And then obviously again, after last year where he didn't have as good a year, and they opened up the floodgates really for you to go without any kind of precaution, stuck with it. So just proud that I had an opportunity to be there with him the whole time, and that he's been here with us the whole time.
How did he? I know he was pretty involved in keeping that team together. That first time the sanctions were handed down. How did you see him kind of handle that and keep those guys together? Because he's done that before throughout his life. I mean, he did it in middle school, having guys all go to Timberview with him and stuff. Did you see him do that personally? Did you?
Yeah, I don't know if I was as close on the inter-team conversations. I was obviously trying to myself keep it all together with each guy, and everybody had a different circumstance. And then we lost a couple guys. Eddie obviously transferred out, and then so did Yor. And so there was just a lot going on. We had all those kids signed who had never been here before, and just a difficult time because they also couldn't visit. Donovan Williams and Farron Flavors both signed with us in the spring. They never took official visits here. M.A. Moncrief took an official visit during the year for one of the games, but it was a challenge in terms of trying to keep our hands on all the guys who were also away from campus, right? Even the guys who could return weren't allowed to be here. Mm-hmm. So it was difficult, but I think he was a big part of the conversations in turn. I just don't know the specifics of them.
have a lot of teams contacting him elsewhere trying to get
I'm
him transferred?
sure. They always do. They have a lot of teams contacted them now.
Yeah. Is that, as a coach, I mean, you may do it some too, but how
I
comfortable?
would never
like,
call a kid from another team, ever.
I mean, how comfortable? You're not comfortable with that, right? I mean,
I would never call a kid
Yeah.
on another team, ever. There aren't any kids out there that are that important. But it happens. It's part of the game. I get it. It's just some lines you just decide you won't cross, and you know, at some point I won't coach you. If that's the reason, I'll be okay with it.
Just listen to Woody and Musa speak about how important he was, Ice was for this season. Where do you think you guys are right now if you don't have him? Maybe it's hard to predict.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's really, really hard to tell. You know, I don't even want to venture to guess. I mean, could have gone a lot of different ways. But obviously, it was really important to us being able to get to this point where we are, having a still respectable season. You know, again, I would say, save the sanctions, we would be here talking about, hey, what do you guys need to do tomorrow and the next week we'd be an NIT team at worst, I think. So it would be a very different conversation. But the circumstances just they are what they are.
Are you worried if he does choose to move on after this? Are you worried about the leadership vacuum that could kind of cause, or do you think is a guy or two guys or whoever could step up?
No, and it's not because of him. I think every team, you know, leaders emerge. It's the nature of teams. So that'll happen in its natural course. I don't know who that would be, because again, I don't know all who for sure is coming back. They all could come back. They all could also leave. All of them. Maybe the guys who've already transferred, it's harder, but they're giving out waivers with no problem. So.
What you guys are reaching tomorrow was the destination, unfortunately, started right here on November 3rd or November 2nd when you guys found out. Does it feel any different now that you've gotten here, or what's the message to the group now that you've reached this point?
A little bit. I think the finality of something's always a little bit more real, real. It's one thing to kind of think something's about to happen or know something's about to happen, like death. I mean, not to be that crash, but like somebody's really sick, they're alive the next day, but when it's over, it's kind of, there's no turning back. It's kind of like when the season ends, like when you're in that turn, I'm telling you, it happens every year. You just hang on to every second you're playing, thinking you're gonna practice tomorrow. And then that final buzzer, like literally, we're playing the Oregon State game and we were down in the second half trying to fight to come back. The entire time, you're thinking you're gonna win the game and have practice tomorrow. And then the final buzzer goes off, and that's the moment that it's over for real, and you start to try to process how it all happened and what was good, what was bad, and what can be learned from it. So it's definitely more real now than it was then, but I think even tomorrow will be even a different feeling.
Well, I guess, keeping with it being crass, it's almost like, would you rather know exactly when you're going to die or have it happen at a different point?
Me personally?
Well, just in general, is it different now?
I don't know if
you guys were going.
I think everybody has different. I don't know if you want to hear my death stories.
I don't know if I do. but all I was getting at was, it's got to be different when you go to Kansas City and maybe the tournament or the NIT, and you don't know when it's going to end. Tomorrow, that's it for you guys.
Yeah, I've been in college basketball 18 years. I've never known this. Never. And I've been part of really good teams. I've been a part of teams that hadn't been very good. My second year, we were 12-19 going into Kansas City. And, there's hope. Probably a small glimmer of hope, but there's hope, right? Everybody in the rest of the tournament gets sick. You're the only healthy team, and just keep playing, But the reality is, like we know, and it's unusual to be in this situation, particularly at this level, playing at this level. And in the league this good this year, there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of ways to get into the tournament this year for a team like ours. So knowing that it's not possible is what made it really, really hard.